Ladies and gentlemen, it is November 24th, 2025, and this is your Mining Disrupt News Surge. First off and foremost, this is where you come for entertainment and education, not financial advice. You're going to have to go to the professionals about that. We're going to be talking about the price, however, because it has been doing some things that, well, I think you know what it's been doing. And then we're going to talk about that title and what could absolutely kill Bitcoin, because what I'm going to be talking about 100% could very well kill Bitcoin. And this is not quantum computing. This is not some sort of hack. It's nothing like that. This is a very real threat that could utterly destroy Bitcoin. And I'm not being hyperbolic here. Okay, so as far as the price goes, we are looking at a price of just shy of $85,000. That's bittersweet. I'll talk about that here in a moment. Priority and anytime fees are really about as low as it can get without being free, which I don't think is possible. Unconfirmed transactions just shy of 40,000. Public nodes 23,000, and hash rate is still in the zeta hash range. Blocks are coming in at about 10 minutes and 13 seconds right now. That's going to be an upward tick on the next difficulty adjustment here in about 700 blocks, 743 to be exact. Okay, on that bittersweet front, yes, it is euphoric, it's exciting, it's handshakes, it's high fives, it's planning your rocket trip to the next galaxy on your super space mobile, whatever you're doing there, because, oh, the sky's the limit. The price, it'll never go down. Oh, look, we're at 110, 115, 120, 126. Oh, it's coming back down. It's coming down. Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, I know how it feels, but honestly, the sweet part is, if you're somebody like me, you see, holy moly, I can get sats for $1,100 per dollar right now. That's really, really cool. And because I understand, as best I can, what Bitcoin is, that it is a finite asset when governments around the world have access to unlimited printing of money, this thing has to go up. So this price, it doesn't really mean much to me in the short term. What it means in the long term for me is that it holds my time and energy transformed into a tradable thing much better than anything else. I'll be talking about that when I elaborate on this thing that could kill Bitcoin. So, without further ado, what is this thing that could absolutely kill Bitcoin? Do you have a guess? Do you know what it is? It's people. People could absolutely kill Bitcoin. What I mean by that is Bitcoin is first and foremost a network. It is a trading network. It's like calling chess a network, which it is. Chess is this physical manifestation of a network of people that share the rules. They know how chess works. Now, if you show up to a chess tournament and you say, oh, my pawns can move in X patterns and they can move an extra space, most people that you play against, especially at a tournament, are going to go, no, that's not how that works. What are you doing? You need to leave. But you might run into somebody that goes, okay, yeah, I'll give that a shot. I'll make that work. And then you run into somebody else, and you run into somebody else, and eventually you have your own small little network, and you can go do your little weird version of chess over there. That's fine. The problem is, in Bitcoin, sometimes the people that have the loudest voices are suggesting things like, oh, I want to do whatever I want with my pawn. On Tuesdays, I can do this. It's not great. It's not great. I'm not going to get into the whole core v knots thing. That's not what I'm trying to get to here. My point is that people, human beings ultimately have say in what they do with Bitcoin. And if you have people that don't have the best intentions, or maybe they have what they consider good intentions, but they want to change Bitcoin to be something other than a monetary network, at the very least, I think you should go, whoa, hold on. Let's see what you stand to gain from doing that. Why do you want to do that? Is it just because you're trying something new? Well, you can try new things without affecting Bitcoin. That's fine. By all means, try new things, but go and do it over there. Now, we're still a bit more than a half year out, but I want to remind you that this right here, this QR code right there in the description down below, will get you tickets to the 2026 July Mining Disrupt Expo in Miami. That's right, going back to the home city where this all began, Miami, July 21st through the 23rd. And this is exactly the place to have these discussions. The guys from Ocean were there, the guys from Hive Mining, Fog Hash. There were so many people. I talked to a gal from Spider Pool. I mean, So many people there, and the networking, the deals that were made, massive, massive. Certain things I'm privy to that I can't share, but I will tell you that getting yourself to the Mining Disrupt Expo is very, very worth your time. Let me tell you what. Okay, I've got a post here, and it's really long. It's kind of strange, but it's interesting. This is from Sitebringer. He says, the truth about the 9:30 a.m. Binance seller pattern. The pattern structure. So basically, somebody goes in here and keeps on selling at 9:30 on Binance. And he says, let's just scroll down. Let's get to the meat of it here. Final synthesis. This seller is the residual echo of the October 10th failure. They are cleaning up a mess, not expressing bearish conviction. This is not someone betting on lower prices. It's someone being forced out. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, all the ifs, ands, or buts, and what's going on with Bitcoin. But what I can tell you is there are so many pieces that trying to guess and pin it down to this thing. I just had somebody text me out of the blue the other day. This is somebody that I know it cares about Bitcoin, but not in the same way that I do. Anyways, he said, what's going on with the price of Bitcoin? Because he knows that I'm really into Bitcoin. I do this. I care about Bitcoin. It's part of kind of my life in a big way. And he's come to me with other questions. And I told him it's a lot of things, but I think that part of it has to do with the government shutdown. And that is my belief. I think when you had one of the largest sources of liquidity in the world turned off, it's hard to look at the downstream effects of that. We can look back at 2020 in that era, and when the supply chains were disrupted, it's impossible to see the downstream effects of things until usually well after the fact that supply was cut off. We saw this during 2020 when supply chains were completely upended. When you're thinking about tires, you might just think, well, there's no tires coming in, so I can't go to my local discount tire or Les Schwab or whatever and get new tires, or Costco, and I can't get new tires. Yeah, that's one thing, but you're not thinking about how the delivery trucks can't get the tires, and because the delivery trucks can't get the tires, and they're on the road more than you are, and they need tires more than you, that's putting a further strain on the tire supplier, but they can't get the tires, and so those delivery trucks are stuck at their warehouses, meaning they can't deliver any number of goods to the places, and those places that can't get those goods, they can't sell those things, which means the buyers of those things can't do the things that they want to do with those things. Whoa, all because of tires? Well, yeah, but we go back further than that. It's all because of rubber. And what does this have to do with Bitcoin? What it has to do with Bitcoin is there are so many pieces here that you can't just go, oh, it's Jimmy and he's got Bitcoin and he's selling Bitcoin and that's why the price is going down. What? No, Jimmy has basically nothing to do with Bitcoin. Now, when we're talking about a massive government, the United States of America, not having liquidity turned on like they didn't during the government shutdown, or certainly it was reduced in a large way, that changes things, and we don't see the fallout of that immediately. It takes time for this to roll out. You get my point here? There's a lot of things going on, and I can't pin it down to one thing. And on that note, neither can anybody else. Anybody that says, oh, it's because of this guy, he's selling on Binance, that is 100% the reason why. No. He's selling to somebody else that's buying. So it's not as simple as a one-way trade. No, it can't be. I just finished the Odyssey and it's all right. I read the Robert Fagel's version. Why am I telling you that? Well, here's Nick Sasbo. He says, when Odysseus and his soldiers left Troy victorious, they wanted nothing more than a speedy journey home to rejoin with their families. Then a storm blew them off the path to the island of the Lotus Eaters. The Lotus Eaters tempted them in the most pleasant and compelling ways to stay on their island, forget about their voyage, forget about their families. The soldiers were only able to resume their voyage to reunite with their families by strong exercise of their willpower. Like Homer's Lotus Eaters, modern corporations are unending in their skill to tempt us away from our own voyages, away from our own property, away from our cultures, away from our communities, away from our families, away, and then he goes on to say, away from even starting families. Now, this is something that I realized before I even knew anything about Bitcoin. I knew that it existed, but I wasn't in it. I realized really early that it is extremely easy, but also basically impossible to save money. It's easy in the sense that you just don't do anything. You don't do anything. The way to save money is you don't spend money. So it requires you to literally do nothing. If you have money coming in, and you just pay your expenses and that's it, but you do nothing else, then you're saving money. I understand the problems with saving money. I'm just talking about, like, if I have a stack of something and I don't want the stack to go away, then I don't touch the stack. Pretty simple, right? Ooh, except, and here's where the hard part comes in. You have a global system that has perfected weaponized temptation at every single place you turn around and look at. Every single corporation, marketing scheme, TikTok, whatever it is trying to suck the time and energy away from you. Whether that's actual time and energy because you're just browsing away doing nothing useful, or you're spending your time and energy that you earned over here because, oh, well, they couldn't get it there because you were at work, but we'll get it over here. Once you've got it and you turned it into money, now we'll take it from you. So that's the hard part. Yeah, it's easy to do nothing, but it's hard when everything in the world basically is begging you to do something, which ties directly into my point of this week's talk. It is imperative to be mindful of the world out there, okay? Because if you're not careful, if you're not vigilant, then bad actors can and will be looking for ways to take advantage of you. I'm going to be sharing a personal story here that talks about that exact thing. All right, let's round things out with the tweets. This one is from Alex Gladstein, or Post, whatever they're called now on X. First New Yorker cartoon on hyper-Bitcoinization, bullish. And it shows a person here, they're having dinner, and says, Satoshi for your thoughts, instead of a penny for your thoughts. Okay, 2 quick personal stories. Remember how I talked about that guy contacting me and asking about the price of Bitcoin? Well, he's an older gentleman, and he got an email. A very clever, sneaky email. And he asked me, what should I do with this? Because it made it sound like, in this email, that he was, how do I say this? That the law was coming after him. And at a quick glance, it was scary. It was real scary. Basically, you don't have any right to anything that we deem ours. You need to give us access to this. And if you do not, the full force of the law, it sounded really, honestly, terrifying. And he said, what should I do with this? What do I do? And then I looked at it a little bit longer. I looked at where it came from and I went, oh, this is a scam. This is 100% a scam. It was not a legitimate email place. I don't remember what the email was, but it wasn't like the law offices of some actual place. No, it was not that. It was like bingbong at 123.goofymail.com. And it wasn't quite that bad, but it was along those lines. And then when you look further into the email and then you look at a little bit of formatting and it just, at first pass, yeah, it was scary. But when you pay attention a little bit longer, oh no, this is a scam. Full on. I asked my brothers who are also generally, they're adjacent to Bitcoin. They pay attention, but they're more aware of kind of scam type stuff. Showed it, oh yeah, 100% scam. Let this guy know that do not do anything. Just delete the email, ignore anything like that. So I pointed out the various things that I noticed about the email, what my brother said about it, all in agreement. This is a scam. The point here is bad actors. There are people like this out there that are looking to take your Bitcoin, looking to take whatever they can from you. These are the kind of people that can, if not watched, if you fail to be vigilant, that could kill Bitcoin. It is absolutely imperative that we are ever vigilant. You cannot rest on your laurels with this thing. Now, the other story is a little bit more personal because it deals with me directly. So people that I know are aware that I'm into Bitcoin. They know that I pay attention to it. They know me, like where I work, as kind of like the Bitcoin guy. I mean, I don't know if that anybody's calling me the Bitcoin guy, but if people have questions about Bitcoin, they're coming to me with them. Well, I was talking to a guy. He's a little bit younger than me. Not I don't know. I'm in my 40s, early 40s. He's in his early 30s, I think. And he was saying, well, I've got reservations. I don't know this. I quantum this, quantum this. All the regular stuff. And I said, honestly, all of that aside, I am into Bitcoin because I don't know of anything that stores and holds and contains my time and energy better than Bitcoin. If you have something, then I am more than willing to look into it. But where I live in the Pacific Northwest, for me to get into real estate, not that I ever would, but let's just say I wanted to, I'm looking at an entry cost of about $1 million. Just to get a starter home and then go through all of the stuff that gets me. I don't have just $1 million kicking around to do that. I could go into the S&P 500, sure, but that's pretty much treading water with M2. Like, I don't know of anything that actually truly stores my time and energy better than Bitcoin. But again, by all means, if you've got something, guy, let me know and I'll look into it. I've looked into gold. I've looked into the stock market. I've looked into the S&P 500. I've looked into ETFs. I've looked into real estate. I've looked into all the things that you would probably think to tell me. So whatever you might have is going to it's going to have to be something out there, like something goofy. And if it's goofy and it's out there, then yeah, maybe it's a good idea. But sometimes the goofy ideas are actually just goofy ideas that should be left alone because they're put out there by goofy people. And this brings me back, tying it all together. You got to pay attention to who you're interacting with, because people, the networks of people that we have, the networks that we build and we maintain, they are everything. I mean, if you are part of a bad network, well, then you're probably going to be influenced to go down some not so great paths. But if you're part of a good network, then your life might point towards the stars and look a little brighter each day. And this is one of the reasons why you should absolutely get yourself to the Mining Disrupt Expo. Get those tickets locked in now early. Make sure you've got them so you're not forgetting about it. You're going to be hearing me talk about this all the way until July next year. But I really, having gone twice now, I really believe that the Mining Disrupt Expo is hands down the highest signal to noise ratio that you are going to find anywhere. There is nothing like it. When you get there, the amount of conversations and the networking you can do, the stuff on the floor is amazing. It's great, but it's the connections that you make. It's the hand-to-hand. It is the people, and they are all on the base layer of Bitcoin. It's not some like weird side projects, and some of those are cool, yeah, admittedly, but no, this is the base layer. This is where Bitcoin comes from. It's like getting into contracting, general contracting, but from the people that go in and build the foundation, like the concrete layers. Who's going to know better about the structural integrity of a building besides the people that are laying the concrete? Like, they're going to know. They're the ones putting the concrete down. Those are going to be your guys. Same is true of Bitcoin. The miners are your guys. They are the salt of the earth people. There are plenty of other great people in Bitcoin, but honestly, miners are, I mean, they get dirty. They get out there. They get their hands filthy. They get into the muck and the mire, the gunk. They're out there finding energy wherever they can, making it happen. And they're a hardy, real cool bunch of people, I'll tell you what. All right, I'll have more to talk about next week, as always, and I will see you in about 7 days.